Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dev Life podcast. My name is Brooke, and hopefully by now everybody knows Matt. So, hello, Matt.
Hello, everybody.
Now, one thing that they may not know about you, Matt, is that you're actually one of the co-organizers at the meetup that I co-founded, the Angular Community Meetup. And then you and I have also recently just started a Google Developer Group, so a GDG for a Salt Lake City chapter. And we've had so much fun just organizing events and putting on conferences. We just finished doing a Dev Fest not too long ago. You and I also do this podcast. So, like, we're always creating content. And I think, like, needless to say, you and I have found a lot of value and importance in creating that content and being someone that's kind of part of this larger, more global community, right? Um, and I'll be honest, like I've heard lots of podcast episodes. I've done some myself where we've talked about the importance of attending conferences or going to local meetups and how that's good for networking and career growth, things like that. But today, everyone, we wanted to dive a little bit deeper into this idea of, not just attending conferences, but community and how that really is important as a software engineer, the benefits to contributing to that. And I think importantly is how you can realistically do that. Like, let's be honest here, we have families, we have full-time jobs. It's not always in the picture right now today to be someone that can give a lot of extra time outside of your existing responsibilities. So this episode, we really wanted to dive into how we can realistically contribute and how that might look for you, be that at a global level or maybe even at a company level. But there really is like literally no one I could think of better to talk about all of this with than someone who's very much a part of the Angular community. She actually leads the Google Developer Expert program for Google. But everybody, we wanted to welcome to the show Magna, and I'm so sorry. Is it Kustosz? Okay, okay. So sorry for the bad American
That's okay. No worries.
pronunciation, but we are so
Yeah.
excited to have you. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you as well. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Matthew. Hi, everyone. Well, first of all, thank you very much for this warm welcome to both of you. I feel very honored to be your guest, and I hope I will be able to share some interesting insights with you and with the audience.
No doubt.
Yeah, such an honor having you on the show, Magda. So you're the Angular community manager for Google, but you're employed by a company called EPAM Systems. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you eventually got involved with Google and Angular.
Sure, sure. I'd be happy to. So as you said, I'm an employee of EPAM Systems, and my role is to provide community management service to Google right now. But my professional career started somewhere around 2016, so almost 10 years ago. And long story short, in the second year of my master's, I chose HR specialty, and I started to look for my very first job. And that is how I ended up in the IT company as an IT recruiter with absolutely zero experience and zero knowledge what that industry is really all about. And yeah, along the years, I met more and more developers and people from IT. I was recruiting, so I had to at some point start to use their language as well. And after a few years, I developed my role. I continued to recruit, but I also entered the world of HR. And I started to build my role as HR expert. I was working with managers, with teams. I was conducting workshops, setting some processes, making improvements, and so on and so forth. So it was pretty much a 360 role. And how I ended up providing community management service to Google. Well, my former colleague that used to work with me, Paweł Kubiak, greetings, he wanted to bring up and bring back to life Wrocław Angular meetups together with his friend. My company had a great office and we wanted to get involved. And so we started this journey together. We started to rebuild the Angular community in Wrocław in Poland, and with a great success, I think. And after some time, Paweł just texted me that EPAM is looking for the Angular community manager for Google. And I thought, yeah, maybe it's a good time to do some pivot in my career and try to something new. I applied and well, here we are.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
Love
so
that.
cool.
Aligned. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So then,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Matt. Well, I was
Oh,
just going to say, tell us a little bit then about your involvement with the Google Developer Expert Program and what exactly that is, who is it for, how do you become a GDE?
Sure, sure. With greatest pleasure. Well, we have a couple of community programs in the dev ecosystem, and these programs are GDG, which is Google Developer Groups, GDG on Campus, Accelerator, and Google Developer Experts. So Google Developer Groups, that is a program for a pretty broad audience of developers formed in different cities, like GDG Salt Lake City, as you mentioned in the beginning. And as you know yourselves, it's a pretty vibrant ecosystem. Groups organize different events. They get support from Google to do those events, to invite speakers and so on and so forth. Then we have a GDG on campus. It's pretty similar, but the focus is on the students. So thanks to that, younger people get engaged, they can organize their first events, and they are also able to invite like very high level speakers to provide the best possible content. Then we have Accelerator, which is a program for startups. And last but not least, we have Google Developer Experts, and that is the program I have the pleasure to work on. So in this program, I get to work with absolute top managers and Angular experts from all over the world, basically. These are people who are globally known for their activities, who are absolutely the best, they're amazing professionals with amazing expertise and amazing experience. And they are something like brand ambassadors for the program, and the program itself is divided into different categories based on different technologies. So we have experts in Android, in AI, in Flutter, Google Cloud, and so on and so forth, like all different products and categories. And of course, we have the Angular category as well. And if someone wants to become a Google developer expert, yeah, go for it. But I have to say that it's actually not that easy. I mean, it's quite hard because to become one, you have to meet like certain requirements and go through the whole process of joining the program. So how to do it? First of all, you need to get a referral from either someone who is already in the program, like yourself, so from some other GDE or from a Googler. Then we have a screening process. You have to fill in an application, a pretty long one, if I can say, where you actually show your level of expertise. You show how much of an expert you already are in the category and what do you bring to the community. How can you do that? Well, you can create content for social media. You can be a YouTuber, creating videos, being a speaker on the conferences, being a podcaster, basically, so that you have to have some kind of personal brand and to show that you create things that are very impactful and meaningful to the community. So that's that step. Then we have the technical interview, a couple of more screenings, and then we have a decision and you become officially Google Developer Expert. And one thing I wanted to say when it comes to the GDE program is that even when it doesn't work, because sometimes the applications are being rejected, though it happens from time to time, obviously, that doesn't mean that the game is over, that you can always try after some time. I personally recommend at least to wait 6 months, because I think that is actually the time where when people can like get more experience, go to a few more conferences, give some more talks or something like this. But to put it in a nutshell, I'd say the process is hard, but it's absolutely worth it, you know? Because when we talk about GDEs, we talk about the absolute best world experts on Angular technology that you can get, basically. So,
Absolutely. So quick question for you, Magda.
yeah.
Uh, so I know that you oversee Angular GDEs. Do you oversee all like other categories as well?
I mean, we do cooperate on many different levels, but my main focus, like on a daily basis, I'm in touch with Angular community mostly.
Cool, cool. And so are the other people over the other communities, do they a lot of them come from EPAM as well?
Uh, well, we have a pretty big community of community managers, if I can say so, in EPAM.
Yeah.
Yes, there are
That's
pretty
cool.
pretty pretty lot of people who also do the same, but for different categories. Yeah.
Very cool.
Wow. Yeah. And we do want to get a little bit more into this too throughout the discussion. So I think probably people have a lot of questions, but we will get into it. We do want to, get to know you a little bit more as well. And so before we really go more in depth here, we thought
Sure.
it'd be fun just to ask a quick little question. And especially because I think, you know, as you were just saying, like you obviously are very well educated. Like you've got what, one or two master's degrees, did you say?
Yeah, I finished
Wow.
yeah, two universities.
Okay, see, and you're managing this globally sized community across borders, across languages. Like these are big things. You obviously have had to develop skills in time management, work-life balance. But is there something that you feel like you do in your life that's not necessarily tech related, but just something that you feel like has helped you to really improve your career or be successful in your career?
Mm-hmm. Um, well, I think one thing is definitely my love for people and the way I focus on people, you know. Those combined with my pretty strong empathy is a combo that shaped me very much. I always felt really close to people. I feel like I could get along with them pretty quickly, read their emotions, and just be there for them as a support. I feel that I can be this this push, you know, which will help people grow and go out of their comfort zone. And that is the satisfaction that shapes the way I am now for sure. And the second thing, especially in the last couple of years, I'd say is sports. I am a pretty active person and I love doing different kinds of sports, especially the ones that give you the adrenaline rush. But what I learned is that sports is actually not about motivation. It is simply about discipline. And
Mhm.
the more you don't feel like, for example, hitting the gym, the more you have to do it, you know?
That's true.
So it definitely gave me the consistency and a strong will. And it taught me that, well, you can be scared and still do things. And that feeling you have afterwards, well, it's pretty addictive. So
That's
yeah,
true. Yeah. Ooh, I like that answer. That's
It is
thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah. I agree. I think being people focused is hugely underestimated, but
Yeah.
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 That's got to be so fulfilling too, like in your job to see all these people grow and, lift
Oh
up
yeah,
the community. That's so amazing.
definitely. That's super addictive from like many years.
Okay, last question, then we'll move on.
Yeah.
What
Sure.
sport is your favorite
I was gonna ask that, yeah.
You know, that's a tough one. I'm actually laughing that I'm a hybrid athlete because I'm not good, like I'm not a professional at anything that I do, but I do climbing, I do boxing, I run, I do like cycling whenever I can. So there is a lot of going on, but I started from box a couple of years back,
Wow.
and box has a really special place. Yeah, boxing has a really special place in my heart. So, yeah.
It's awesome. Well, I also love rock climbing. Here in Utah, we have some amazing rock climbing. So if you're ever in
Oh,
Utah, let me
yeah.
know. I'll
Check. I'm putting this on my list, definitely.
Well, okay, so what we
thank
need
you.
to do is just make sure ng-conf happens next year in Salt Lake, and we'll have you come out.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
There we go.
I'll do
And
my
I'm
very best to be there.
okay. All right. Well, I'd love to learn more about the Angular community. Like we've said, like Matt and I are both part of this GDE program. It's something that boy can it be exhausting because like we've said, it we have full-time jobs, we have families, we have other interests and things, and to be doing all of this content creation on top of all of those other demands is really tiring at times. And to be perfectly honest, there are days where I'm like, I don't want to run this meetup, but
Um,
I do. And I think it's similar to what you're saying with sports, where it is a bit addictive because you get to have those connections with other people literally across the world.
yeah,
And it's just so much fun to be part of this. And one amazing benefit to being a GDE is that you can go around and speak at conferences, and Google will help cover some of, and sometimes all, if it's a more, if it's a conference that's close by and the expenses aren't outrageous, but it is all reviewed and you have to submit a request. But there is that benefit. That is a huge perk going around meeting people in different locations.
definitely.
But I would love to hear from you, kind of your perspective. I know it more from the GDE perspective. I think you have a very different angle of how this works. And so I'm curious, like, what are the most exciting things going on right now or underappreciated developments happening in the Angular ecosystem currently?
Oh wow, yeah. To be honest, like so much is happening in the Angular ecosystem that it's going to be really hard to point just at one thing. But yeah, for starters, we just had the newest V21 release 2 days ago with
Woohoo!
so many new features, and in my opinion, the coolest developer event ever. If you haven't seen it, please do. So that is one thing. You've mentioned conferences, so there are many really, really amazing Angular conferences and events happening along the year. Well, I just had the pleasure to take part in NG Poland a couple of days ago, and if I'm being honest, such events are always so heartwarming, because like you said, we all work from different parts of the world on a daily basis. And it is really, really hard to meet in person. So whenever there is a possibility to meet face to face, I think, yeah, it's super exciting. Um, but what I want to resonate is that from my perspective as the Angular community manager, is actually the way the Angular is developing as technology. And the fact that it's being built by the Angular team and the community together is something that is really, really amazing,
Yeah.
because the way I see it is the fact that the community have so much influence on the technology, community's feedback is being heard and taken under consideration, and it truly shapes the Angular. And I think that this is something that drives the people in the ecosystem and gives them the encouragement and like a natural motivation boost. So I think it is absolutely the greatest.
Absolutely.
I
I've
cannot,
often said that.
yeah,
The
I cannot agree
community.
enough. Yeah, seriously. Like, it was crazy. Like, we were on our previous episode, we were interviewing Sander, who's a part of the community, and he was
Yeah.
telling about all this feedback he was giving about signals and then how it happened, and then he gave feedback about whatever. And then for my GDE interview, Mark Texan interviewed me, and I was like saying like, "Oh man, I wish there was a better way to handle styling in Angular." And then Angular Aria comes out in the V21
Bang.
release,
Here we
like.
are.
And I'm like Texan was like kind of laughing when I said that, and I'm like, oh, I see why. Like, but yeah, I also agree that was the coolest event ever. Like, if
Yeah.
anyone watching this show hasn't seen it yet, go watch the V21 release. Even if you know what's in it, like they gave it this video game theme that made it so fun. So go watch that. But another question for you, Magda, is what unique challenges come with managing a community around a framework as large as Angular?
Yeah, in the global tech ecosystem such as Angular, there are many challenges, obviously. For starters, like we just mentioned, we're talking about the global ecosystem. So I am in a contact with many people all around the world on a daily basis, which leads us to the first challenge, which is basically communication.
Mm.
I talk with so many different people from different countries, different cultures, with absolutely different characters that you just have to know how to adjust and how to tune in to this other person. Um, I heard many times that I'm pretty good with people. I even laugh that I'm addicted to people. So I think that this is something that really helps me to do my day-to-day job because, um, knowing when you can allow yourself to be a bit more energetic and cheerful when you're talking with someone as extroverted as yourself and who won't be overwhelmed with your character and your energy, and actually when to be a bit more calm and restrained when you have an introvert on the other side
Right.
is something very, very helpful. I think that is something that yeah, that helped me a lot along those years, because even if you are not a tech person like me, because I'm not a developer,
Mhm.
uh, if you can truly listen, if you can read the other person, tune in, you can have a wonderful chat and build really strong connections, And second challenge that comes to my mind when we're talking about managing a global developers community like the Angular ecosystem is actually keeping the engagement up.
Mm.
I can say with full certainty that when we talk about the Angular community, we have an amazing group of experts there, just like the two of you, for example, who together create such an amazing environment that it goes beyond imagination. When I look at the Angular community on a daily basis, basically, I see what passion truly means, because people are so dedicated. You've mentioned that yourself, Brooke, that besides their regular jobs, they use their private time to share their love for Angular, to share their knowledge, to build this community. So if you're not honest and true about what you're doing, it can be extremely challenging to convince people to become a part of your journey and just and to create together. So
Mm.
yeah, I think these are the biggest challenges.
That's
Hmm.
often like one of my biggest struggles with leading the Angular community meetup or our new GDG chapter is just like I have seen and felt and experienced the benefits to being involved in these programs, and I just want to like scream it from the rooftops, like, you've got to come do this too. But and I get it. Like it's just there is a time and a place that has to fit with your current life. And if that's not now, like I get that. But yeah, it's you just want other people to really reap those benefits too.
Yeah.
One of the other challenges I think I've noticed a lot as I've tried to lead our team of organizers is um, engagement there as well. Because when you put on these monthly events, it does become somewhat rote or just, you know, it's hard to keep that engagement up there. Sometimes it's easy to
Yeah.
forget the benefits to it. So have you felt that yourself and just keeping it's all volunteer based and
Yeah.
there's no monetary benefit. So I mean that it's hard to keep people motivated when they aren't constantly seeing those benefits. And that would be my question is how do you keep people motivated and actively contributing if they aren't feeling those immediate benefits?
Yeah, maybe it will sound very easy, but I actually believe in the simple truth that if you believe in what you're doing, the people will feel the energy. It's as simple as that. And oh yeah, of course, sometimes it's hard to keep the motivation up. And I think it's important to remember that there will be worse moments, and that's okay, because it's like in life, you cannot be on your 100% all the time. There must be a moment when you have to recharge your batteries. So I think it's a simple truth that goes to everything that you're doing, basically, that you need to give yourself and others time to recharge and to feel the love for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, so what would you say are the biggest misconceptions engineers have about community building?
I think the biggest misconception about that is that managing a global community of engineers is an easy job and can be done by anyone.
Yeah.
The reality is a bit different, I
Yeah.
have to say, because you have to juggle so many things all at the same time, that it can be quite a ride sometimes. You need a
Hmm.
great planning skills. You have to have an eye for process improvements. You have to have the knowledge how to deal with different stakeholders, how to adjust, because usually those stakeholders are in different time zones. You have to make sure everything is being delivered on time, and in the meantime, well, you have to stay in touch with hundreds of people, but not on a very basic level, because like I've mentioned, to build a true relation, you have to go deeper. Yeah, being a community manager can be a challenge sometimes, but it also gives you an incredible amount of joy and satisfaction, definitely.
Yeah. So quick follow-up question on that. So if
Yeah,
someone wanted to become a community manager,
yeah.
like what it and they're maybe junior, they're maybe new to it, but like that's their life dream. What advice would you give them to go down that path?
Well, for starters, I'd say it's pretty good to to know something about the community that you want to become the community manager to. That definitely really helps. And yeah, and just be open, try to go between the people, even if you're working remote like I do, because I work with the GDs from all over the world, so we do not see each other like in person very much. But sometimes, from time to time, just this quick one-on-one or just a small chat even on Slack, when you can maintain the communication and the relations, is really important. And so, yeah, I say that you don't have to be a tech person to become a community manager for like dev ecosystem, like any dev ecosystem. But it is important to actually, at least in a way, speak their language. So you
Hmm.
don't have to understand if that code will comply. That's how you say it. Like, it'll compile.
Compile,
If that
yeah.
will compile. But you have to know more or less what they are talking about, and yeah, and I think that's the most important.
I like that. One thing we found as well is when you are first starting something, it's very much like starting a company, right? You have all this energy and excitement about it. You have a vision of what you want it to look like. But just like when you're building that app, that website, it's you've got to have your MVP and you have to
Yeah,
really not try to do everything all at once, but just take it as you would from that software development perspective of let's do this in increments. Let's just start with our MVP, then we can add the next layer, then the next layer. Because if you go all in and just try to do everything all at once, you're going to have all of your organizers contributing different ideas and it's going to be too much way too
definitely.
fast. So that would
Absolutely
be
agree.
something we learned the hard way. We all had these great ideas, but we burnt out real quick.
Yeah.
So, but okay, so I love this discussion about on the Angular level, global community. If we scale that back a little bit, because like we've said, people are busy and maybe they
Yeah.
want to start dipping their toe in. They're interested in the GDE program, they're interested in getting involved more at this large scale level, but they want to just test it out, see if they're even really if it's a good fit. So let's talk about company level a little bit. And how can someone build a community or contribute to building a happy, healthy developer environment at their company it'd be more of like a community first engineer type perspective. And then as a side note on there, how would you recommend, especially for someone who's introverted and maybe it's not so natural for them to be driving these kinds of initiatives?
Yeah, sure. Well, let me think. I think that what I'm about to say can be used not only in the engineering culture, but in any culture or community, really. Because actually I've experienced it on my own skin. And it probably won't be any groundbreaking thought, but I think that if you are someone who is responsible for the team or the community or else, and you want to build something, you have an idea, or you want to create a new community, uh, you have to truly believe in this. We've already mentioned this today. And people will simply follow you. Like important thing in this journey is that you have to be open to feedback, but like truly open. Not only saying that, oh yeah, people can share their thoughts, and then you're mad that they did, and you don't want to take their insights under consideration. And you also have to believe in people you work with. You have to push them a little bit every day. It's good to find someone who will become your partner in crime also, because it's
Hmm.
good to share the stress and all the work that is to be done. And you have to show people that you see their potential. I actually have an example, like from my own story here, that in my previous company, one day I had this idea that maybe we could start this series for YouTube, like a knowledge sharing, done by the developers. But it's hard sometimes to convince developers to, hey, let's go in front of the camera and record something. So yeah, but I created a really great team, and we believed in the project. So we started to work on that. We finally finished the first season. It went live, and I was like, okay, it went pretty good. So we were thinking about the second season, and I will have to go again and, ping people, try to convince them, okay, maybe you want to be part of that. And actually, the magic happened because before I started to do that, some people from the company texted me on Slack saying, hey, I saw what you did there. Now I understand the idea. And I do believe that what you're doing is a really like cool thing. So I want to be part of that journey too. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good example that if you believe and if you're honest about what you're doing, you're transparent, then the success is guaranteed. And if we're thinking about what's not gonna work, it's just the opposite. So if your actions are not sincere, if you're not true to what you're doing, then people will just feel it. It's as simple as that, I think.
Yeah.
Mm. I like what you said about partners in crime.
Yeah.
Yes. So true. I could not run the community meetup without, I mean, Chris Perko, GDE, was one of the first
Yeah.
ones I brought on. And then when I
Greetings to
met
Chris.
Matt, yeah, right. But I don't know, like I feel like there's like a little spark, a bit of a magic feel. Because I know that when I met Matt, it was like instantly I just saw this attention to detail and quality and passion that he was putting out in our day-to-day work at our company.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to talk to you about something else.
That's how it starts, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I felt the same way when I met you too, Brooke. It's been amazing working with you. And
Yeah.
um, so, Magda, along the same note, what are the most underestimated opportunities for engineers to support each other at work as partners in crime?
Maybe this will sound cheesy, but I think the most underestimated opportunity for engineers and for any other person actually is feedback. People
Mm.
often say they are open to receive feedback and that they will gladly ask for it, but the truth is that we do not like to hear feedback. If it's not an appreciation, if there's some development hidden there, oh boy. So yeah, once we get that feedback, it is still really hard for us to go beyond emotions and frustration. and ask ourselves a question. Okay, so is there any possibility that what this other person shared with me is a truth at some point? Maybe yes, maybe not. But to answer that, you actually have to think that through, and it is something you have to practice hundreds of times. And trust me, it gets easier because once you become more self aware and you can go beyond that thinking that the feedback I get is about me, not my work, or someone is
Right.
just mean and then they are not being honest, or they just want to, get on my nerve. Well, I believe that when we start to see the good intentions, then it gets easier. So to put it in a nutshell, I think that feedback is something that we could all use more in our day-to-day job.
And both ways too,
Mhm.
right? Because I think
Yes, definitely.
it's easy to misinterpret someone's lack of communication or why they suddenly seem unengaged or something, and you make all these assumptions, but just asking them a simple, and this is where I love everything you're saying about being empathetic and connecting human to human,
Yeah.
because it's not necessarily about the work, and it's not necessarily because they're hating what they're doing and they want to leave, but they may have some family issue going on or health issue that you're unaware of, and just having that humanly,
Yeah.
interest in them. Are you okay? I haven't heard from you as much lately. How are you doing? Is there anything I can do? And then usually people are willing to open up and just say, you know what, this is what I'm dealing with. And okay, great. Now I know. Now I don't have to make these assumptions that you don't want to work here with us anymore. And
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
for sure.
Definitely.
But
I,
so, okay,
mhm.
kind of like going along that then is, if someone is burning out, do you feel like there's uh, warning signs for that burnout and things that you can do to kind of catch that and help prevent that or at least minimize it a little bit?
Mm, yeah, well, especially when we're talking about the community, for example, I think you can compare it to like one giant team, and like in every team, if something bad is happening, there will be signs. You can see people stepping back, being less active, providing less open communication. There might be even some conflicts, these are inevitable. Where there are people, there will always be conflicts. But what I also know from my professional experience is that conflicts are needed. And if they're being led skillfully, they can be very cleansing and actually showing a new perspective. So,
Mm.
what a community manager or a team leader should be really focused on is what we're repeating here constantly during this talk, to build one-on-one relations with people, to encourage them to talk, because where there's no trust, there can be no good cooperation and good communication, like honest communication.
Yeah,
Mhm.
trust, huge.
That, yeah. So, are there any team or company culture challenges you see that aren't talked about enough?
um well, from my perspective, I think we stopped talking that much about the challenge of working in the remote teams. And I think
Mhm.
it is still quite a pain point.
Mhm.
Uh, I see that working as the Angular community manager, because managing such a big community when people are located all over the world is, yeah, it can be really hard sometimes. There are time differences, cultural differences. You cannot always be there for everyone on time, and so on and so forth. So staying in touch with everyone can be an exploiting task sometimes, and it is the same
Mhm.
with the smaller teams. I mentioned that a few times during our talk already. That I think the most important are people, and we are social beings. We need others to exist. So even if we're talking about job, it's still people who are doing the job. So if the manager won't build a strong connection with each person and between the team members, which can be really hard when we don't see each other in person, then we can't talk about open communication, solving problems openly, talking about those problems, and providing and receiving honest feedback.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and one more thing, I also see not only in the IT industry, unfortunately, but generally, is that often someone is being promoted to be a leader or a manager, and well, have no skill set to do that.
Mm,
He or she just doesn't know what to do, and it's normal. I mean, it's okay because nobody taught that person how to be a leader or a manager. And I think it would be fine if we actually provided the tools, the skill set, the knowledge to those
mhm,
people and show them how to do it. But very often they are just being left on their own. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's
mhm.
so true. Just not, enabling them to do their job. Yeah. Oh, I agree with that.
I
You're
agree
you're
too.
mentioning managers though. So maybe we can kind of flip this a little bit because so far we've talked about, individual contributors, developers,
Yeah.
but from that manager's perspective, what do you feel like are the most effective and possibly even hurtful actions that engineering managers can be taken to either strengthen or break or hurt
Mhm.
the community there at their companies?
Yeah, well, I'd say forcing people is a really bad strategy,
Mhm.
Mm,
People will withdraw and close if we don't try to know them first and build a connection. I saw that happening multiple times during my my professional career, and this is what I've been talking about earlier. If we have a manager who doesn't know how to lead the team, how to nurture the people, show them how to grow, to see what drives people, what annoys them, because no one taught them how to do it, then
Right.
it's impossible to build a great team because you have to be truly oriented and focused on people. You have to listen to them. You have to treat them as the adults. That's not also very obvious at job. You have to
mhm,
be able to share the good news with them as openly as you share the hard truths. You have to stay transparent, and also it's important to divide the work according to their natural talents, the way of thinking. That's the way we're building an amazing team or the community.
mm,
I love that.
yeah,
I love everything you're saying. And
yeah.
I
That's
will
okay. Thank
say,
you.
Magna, I have experienced that with you and from you. I know that what you're saying is not just fluff and words, because as we've worked with you through the GDE program, I can honestly say with all sincerity that you have been one of the most receptive, responsive people that we've worked with, and you just are always so concerned about how can I help you, and I like too how you give such clear communication on, yes, I'm happy to help you. I need it. I need you to get me this and this by such and such day. And there's just no, there's no wondering or questioning. It's just very clear and straightforward. And but I can tell very much that you are very concerned with people, like you're saying. So
Thank you. That's so kind to hear this from the other side. So thank you very much, Brooke. That's so nice.
yeah.
Yeah. I loved what you were saying also kind of along the lines of building safety, like
Yeah,
creating a culture where it's safe to ask questions and that you
and make
feel comfortable
mistakes.
and make
That's
mistakes.
it's really
Yeah.
important to allow people to make mistakes.
Yeah. When I was running a web development company a few years back, that was something I struggled with at first. And then I found this book called The Culture Code, and it changed my company around.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess I needed the leadership training. And so, I don't know, maybe people listening to this who have been put into management positions, my advice is, you're in the right place. Keep listening to this podcast. Go, read some books, and you can do it. But I'm curious, Magda, what are some behaviors that managers might do that they may not realize actually harm their team?
Well, I think I can definitely share one thing that comes to my mind from my own experience. And that thing is to think that you know better what the other person thinks or wants,
Mhm.
Right.
Personally, for me, it's the hardest part because I can see so much potential in other people. And well, when I see them grow, it makes me so happy, like you said, Matt. But sometimes it can be really hard to accept that someone may just simply not want to grow at this very moment, or
Right.
like
Mhm.
someone doesn't want to step out of his or her comfort zone, even when I know it would be a great challenge, for that person. So sometimes to step down, stop pushing, accepting other people's choices may be really hard. Thankfully, I've learned how to do that along my professional path, and it still gets very hard, but I can do that now. So yeah, answering your question, I think pushing too much and thinking that we know best might be
Yeah.
actually pretty discouraging to others.
I feel like that's solid advice for any relationship, right? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you have a family member, you can see that potential in them and you're encouraging them to go get that degree, go do this.
Mhm.
And if they aren't ready for it, but I think that goes to say like you can't change people, right? Like
Yeah.
your perception of them and their perception of themselves and what they want out of life can sometimes be even just a little different. And I think when people hear you saying, go do this, go do that, there's that instant like humanly concern of you think I'm not doing enough? Am I not good enough for you? And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they resist and they're
Yeah.
like, I don't want to go do what you're doing, you know? So you have to very carefully craft that support and love and encouragement without, like you're saying, without forcing them or telling them that they have to do it. But in a manager's position where there's a company and there's money involved, it does get tricky. So that's
Yeah. Yeah. I
really
mean,
solid.
I can share one more thing that actually just came to my mind, that I think it's something you can use both in like professional and private life. Like it's really good actually to ask the other person, okay, do you want me to listen or do you want me to give you advice? Because
Mhm.
we are jumping into giving advices just, straight away.
Mhm.
And like you said, sometimes the other person, like they just want to share what's on their mind, and they need someone to listen to, not jumping
Yeah.
into conclusions and giving good advices. So
Which is
so
what
yeah.
software developers tend to do. We fix
Yeah.
problems. So when
Yeah.
someone
Oh
has
yes.
problems, we want to fix it.
Oh yeah.
I relate to that. But
Did y'all ever see that video about with the Nell? There's like a lady who has like a nail in her forehead, and there's a guy who's like, oh, she's like, oh, my head hurts. I have a headache. He's like, oh, let me just take out this nail. She's like, I don't want to have my problem fixed. I just want to tell you about. He's like, but there's
oh
a
no.
nail in your forehead, and like they're like
Yeah.
fighting.
Oh
Hilarious YouTube
man.
video. Gotta go
Yeah.
watch that.
Wow. Okay, I'll have to find it. Or we can try to find it and put the link in the notes.
Yeah.
Oh, Magna, this has been fantastic. I love everything you've been saying from
Mhm.
that global, Angular perspective down to the company level. I just think your advice has been so solid. But is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap things up? Anything else that comes to mind maybe we haven't covered?
It's already the end. Wow.
I know.
I
It
did
goes
notice how
fast.
fast it passed. Amazing. I mean, I'd like to say one more time that it's been a great pleasure talking with you both, Brooke, Matthew. So once again, thank you for having me. I hope I was able to share some insights that will be helpful to people. And yeah, at the end, I'd like to say that I think I couldn't be more proud, and happy to work as the Angular community manager for Google at EPAM Systems. And I'm actually happy that I decided to do that pivot like almost 2 years ago, because that was quite a jump, I think. Because working with such an amazing group of Angular experts all over the world, well, it's been quite a ride so far, and honestly, I cannot wait for the upcoming year and for all those great things to come. So yeah, so thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
well, thank you so much, Magda. You really do such a great job. I have, since
Thank you.
joining the GDE, I already loved Angular and Google, but I have become crazy about it. I'm just telling everyone, like, switch to Angular and
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
yeah. You do such a great job, and thank you. Yeah, so much solid advice
Thank
on
you very
this.
much. Thank you
But
very
if
much.
anyone would like to connect with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the easiest way is to find me on LinkedIn. I am Magda Kustosz. It's MagdaKustosz. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions about the GD program, or just simply you want to connect. I'm open to talk with anyone who's going to be interested.
Wonderful. Okay. And if you're watching on YouTube, or if you aren't, come find us on YouTube and then like the video and subscribe to the channel. Tell us in the comments below the video how you build community on your dev teams. We look forward to seeing you next time. This is the Dev Life.